All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, everybody, to the Terry Hansen Show. This is episode 51. You and I are going to spend some time talking a little bit about how to face your sales fear really like a champion. And if you are a hardworking entrepreneur or a freelancer, business owner, sales professional, then there's one fact that you and I have to come face to face with and realize 100% is there are certain activities that business requires that fall well outside of our comfort zone. Some things that just flat out terrify us, that are hard, that are uncomfortable, that are difficult, that are scary. Whether they're real or whether they're imagined, they grip our hearts in fear. So not only are some of the tasks and activities that just general business, especially in sales, require of us that push us outside of our comfort zone, but we also have our own fears and insecurities just as normal humans. The fear of failing, the fear of looking bad, the fear of being embarrassed or not being able to provide for those that we care most about, the fear of not achieving our dreams, or the fear of, again, failing or just not doing a good job, or the letting other people down. All of those kinds of things are real. They're genuine. They're alive and well with all of us, as a matter of fact. But one of the things that is true is if you and I aren't, number one, aware of these things, then there's no way that we can manage them or fix them or change them. Now, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that I enjoy most in my life is early morning exercising. And some of you are saying, like, well, you're crazy. That's the reason why. But no, I really enjoy. My alarm goes off at about 5:30. And depending on when my teenagers get home at night, it kind of dictates when I get to go to bed. But sometimes I spring out of bed about 5:30. Sometimes it's a little later. But I put on my exercise stuff. I head downstairs into one of the rooms that we have in our house, and I jump on the treadmill, or I hit the weights, or on the stair climber, or the exercise bike. But usually during those times, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm listening to and watching YouTube videos to feed my mind and fill my mind with kind of inspirational and great things to help me be better and do better. Anyway, the other day, I was listening to one of my favorite motivational speakers. His name's Les Brown, a wonderful black guy, been around a long time. Man, oh man, is he absolutely one of my favorites. Such a character. And I can't get enough of that guy. I started listening to Les Brown, about 20 years ago. And even to this day, I still am listening to him, appreciating all that he does. And the other day, he said a quote that really caught my attention. And that's why I wanted to spend some time with you talking about this particular topic of how to face your sales fears head on like a champion. And he said this, he said, that which you resist will persist. That which you resist will persist. And when it comes to the things that we are uncomfortable with, that fall outside of our comfort zones, especially when it comes to selling, if we resist that, if we resist those things, if we avoid them, if we ignore them, pretend and act like they're not there, and just do all that we can to, I guess, just generally resist them, ignore them, put them off, then they're never going away. They're always going to be there for us. They're always going to sabotage us. They're always going to be eaten at us. They're always going to persist. And really, you and I have two choices. We can pretend like they are not a sabotaging, evil influence in our life that's holding us back, or we can deal with them like a champion, head on, proactively, responsibly. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it is simple. It's simple because there's just three things that I want to suggest and recommend to you on how you can face your sales fears head on like a champion. Okay. The first one is this. Be honest with yourself and recognize, just acknowledge what you're scared of. Acknowledge your fear. Acknowledge what you're insecure about. Just acknowledge it and recognize that it is a fact. That you're scared of that. Just acknowledge that. Be okay with it. Come to terms with it. Acknowledge it. Write it down. Share it with somebody. But acknowledge the fact that it's an issue for you. Just be open and honest. Take ownership of that. Okay, that's the first one. But then the second piece to that is recognize that although it is a fact in your life, it does not have to be a force that controls you. Recognize that fear, that insecurity, it does not have to be a force that dictates and controls what you do and how you do it. So write this down. Recognize that your fears are just simply that. They're facts. They are not a force that controls or dictates what you do. You determine and control what you do, not the fears themselves. You are an agent of change, and you have the power within you to control what you do and how you do it. So by all means, acknowledge and recognize the fact that fear is got your heart gripped, and that's okay. But recognize it doesn't have to hold you captive. Okay, number 2 recommendation and suggestion is, when it comes to whatever that thing is, if you look deep enough, you'll probably realize and recognize that whatever it is you're afraid of or insecure about or worried about, that thing in and of itself is probably preventing you from taking some sort of action or performing some sort of activity or doing something that would make a difference for you financially and in your career and for your family. That thing that you're scared about is holding you back in some way, shape, or form. It's limiting you in some way. Now, let's so number 2 here, as I'm getting to it here, is if this trend continues, if nothing changes and things stay the same, will you get to be where you want to be, or will you miss your mark? If the answer is, if the current trend continues, if I continue to be scared, if I continue to let this fact be treated like a force in my life and have it continue to hold me back, and if I don't make any changes, I'm going to be way off course in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, etc. And if that thought is pretty painful for you, then let the pain of staying the same motivate you to make a change. Let the pain of staying the same be greater than the pain of changing and overcoming that fear. So that's the second recommendation, is allow the pain of staying the same move you to and motivate you to proactively deal with this insecurity, this fear that's holding you back, so that you can make the changes that you need to move forward and make some real progress. So I'm going to write down pain of same. Pain of same. Allow that pain of staying the same with no changes happening become greater than the difficulty, the fear that you might face in overcoming and doing the thing that's so scary and hard for you. Does that make sense? Okay, number 3, final way to tackle your sales fears like a champion head on is to find someone that is worth fighting for. Think of the people that need you on your A game. Think of the people, your loved ones, your family, your friends who are really relying on you. But not only the people that are relying on you to be at your best, to perform at your best, to generate the income and the revenue that you need to take care of them and their needs. But not only the people, but think of the dreams that you have. Think of your desires. Think of the kind of things that you want to become. Think of the things that you want to do, and think of the ones that you want to obtain or have. Right? You've got your goals, you have your dreams, you have your aspirations. Those are worthy. They're wonderful. They're awesome. Hang on to those. Make those crystal clear in your mind, those dreams and aspirations, but also the people in your life that need you. And let those things be clear in your mind and fight for those. Have those people in your life. Find people that are worth fighting for. Find causes that are worth fighting for. You and I sometimes, we won't do things for ourselves because we can kind of deal with it and put up with it. But when it comes to the people that we love and care about, we'll move heaven and earth for them. We'll go to the ends of the earth to do things for them because we love them and care about them. So don't let your fears and insecurities stand in the way of you taking care of your loved ones and the people that need you, or stand in your way of you accomplishing the dreams and aspirations that you want more than anything else. So fight for your dreams, fight for your loved ones, use them, leverage them, have them be your driving motivational force that helps you overcome some of these fears and insecurities that are holding you back. Does that make sense? So number 3 is fight for someone. Fight for someone or even something. That's okay too. But last, I might suggest, and this is not one of the four, but realize that fears and insecurities are absolutely part of our journey, part of our process. None of us are machines and robots. None of us are superheroes, right? We're just normal human beings doing the very best that we can. So don't get discouraged and don't get frustrated that you may be imperfect, that you may have some weaknesses here and there, that you might have some things that get you outside of your comfort zone and that you're scared of. That's okay. That's okay. All of us have them. It's perfectly normal. But what is unacceptable is to allow those things to stand in your or my way from becoming who we want to be and accomplishing what we want to do. Now, let me read you one last question before we get ready to wrap up. This is by my one of my mentors, Brendan Burchard, New York Times bestselling author of High Performance Habits. If you don't have it yet, please do yourself a favor and go get it. It'll make a big difference for you. In one of his chapters, he talks about how important courage is. And he poses this terribly interesting question that I think is worth sharing here with you as we get ready to wrap up. He asked this question, and this is a rhetorical question, but I'll leave this with you and invite you then to maybe spend some time thinking about this today. Jot some notes down in your journal, your planner, think about it on your drive home, and you make some decisions today. He says this: if your future best self, now a version of you 10 years older, who is even stronger, more capable, and more successful than you imagined yourself to be. So if that kind of person showed up on your doorstep today and looked at your current situations, what courageous action would that future self advise you to take right away to change your life? How would your future self tell you to live? Can you imagine that? A version of you, 10 years older, 10 years and wildly more successful than anything you could imagine, came to you and looked at your life right now and what you're scared of, what you're insecure about, the things that you're afraid to do and you're just uncomfortable with, etc. What would they advise you to do? How would they tell you to live? Take some time, jot some notes down, and then with that knowledge, take action. I believe in you. I think what you do is marvelous and amazing. And there are thousands of companies out there who desperately need what you have to offer. I believe in you. And if you've appreciated some of the things that we've talked about, then do me a favor, click the link down below in the description in the video and join our complimentary upcoming online sales training workshop where I dive deep. It's a deep dive into the core skills and strategies that you need to grow your sales revenue right away and build a solid six-figure income. Even if you're brand new to selling or a terrible closer, that's okay. It's okay to be imperfect. I'm going to share with you the strategies that you need to circumvent and overcome that stuff so that you can achieve your goals. So click the link down below and register as my guest for that training. It's great to be with you. Keep up the good work. And until we meet again, don't be scared. Charge forward. Recognize that it's a fact, but it doesn't have to be a force. And certainly allow the pain of staying the same and not making any changes and continuing to get what you've always gotten be a bigger pain than the difficulty in overcoming the fear and doing what you're scared of. And last but not least, find somebody to fight for. Find the people and the dreams that you care about deeply and fight for them. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you again on the next episode of the Terry Hansen Show. Take good care. Bye-bye, guys.